Hi everyone. So this is a video recording of an email I sent out to many of you, but hopefully this will reach further on massive change that is actually on the way. 23 years of massive change, and it's starting tomorrow, the 17th of December. Now, many of you will see this after the 17th, but from the 17th, Saturn moves in to Aquarius. 2 days later, Jupiter moves in. 2023, 2024, Pluto moves in, and it doesn't move out of Aquarius until 2043, 44. So this is 23 years of massive change in a very, very particular area. And it's so important, I thought I'd bring in a bit of backup just to give me some higher support in getting this through, because the information I'm going to share has been beta tested a long time ago, and it's particularly focused on what do we do now as we create a really new world where humanity develops, grows, evolves, matures, and where we start taking the world that we've lived in for thousands of years and developing it so that it actually works at a really new level, not dreaming about it, doing movies about it, singing songs about it, wearing flowers in our hair about it. It's the real deal, and it's happening right now. Now, as a practical example of that, I just want to share a project that we're doing, and I'll share this with you, in Thailand, in Phetchabun. And this is a little ad. It seems like everyone else is doing it, but this is for something that's really, really worthwhile, because everything I'm going to share with you today is we're actually applying it in the real world in Thailand, and as a first step to taking this around the world to communities that aren't as well off. We're not giving them handouts, we're empowering them to take charge of their own destiny, use their own resources, and really create something that really reflects the principles that I'm going to share with you today. And it starts, the leader behind it is my partner Katai, who's in Thailand. And there's a whole story there which I won't go into now, but many, many people in the community are involved with this all over. That's the head monk of the temple that's at the background there. So this is about their community is being devastated by COVID. And in terms of tourism, in terms of people coming around and visiting and doing business or receiving healing. And this is something where we want to establish organic farms based on fundamental permaculture principles, and then film it, make it into a program that becomes the first of a series of doing this globally. So if you're interested in that anyway, check out the page. If you're going to apply what I'm about to share with you now in your own context, knock yourself out. I couldn't be happier, because these are the fundamental principles that will underline a real change in the world that will truly work, not just be political, philosophical, idealistic, new age philosophy. It's the real deal. So let's get stuck into it. Now, what is happening from mid-December 2020 until 2044? Well, I'm just going to first of all just list it very clearly. Conscious and empowered men and women. Now, before all us new age people get very excited, this is mainly going to be what we would call everyday people. There'll be people who are wealthy, some of them very wealthy, but the foundation of it is going to be built by the 70% of the people that are middle class or lower in the world, all over the world. This is when human beings are going to stand up and take responsibility for their reality. And they will work at developing a life worth living, a life with purpose, with value, with meaning, and with significance. What this behind me represents. And they will plan ahead. They'll be looking forward and set goals so that they have a future. They will craft their lives and develop their unique gifts. In other words, each person will be treated with respect. The resource of human lives will no longer be wasted, whether it's in poverty or slavery or manipulation or control. Every human being is an incredible resource with unique gifts. Now, in my case, I'm going to craft that future by developing a farm, as I've already said, but also as a mentor and investor in people, communities, and in humanity. Because this thing we're going to take global as a model. Now, people will seek to bring their true gifts to help others. They will develop a relationship with the land, and from that relationship, find true abundance. A lot of what is being used as abundance these days is everything from inaccurate to profane. These people, so we need to have a new relationship with the abundance that we're absolutely surrounded with. These people will develop their unique productivity. Everyone works in a unique and operates in a unique way. They will develop a community so they can reach out, help, and ask for help. It's a source of mutual support, a place where you can build bridges of trust and where you can start to trust each other before we start doing that on a global level. That trust has to be built from the bottom up, based on people learning to trust each other. When people gather, they will discuss their experiences, and each person will offer their wisdom and their qualities. To the other people there. Competitions will be designed to bring out each other's strengths. Competitions to demonstrate skills and love. Not just skills, but the ability to love and how that can be used in such a creative and powerful way. This will help people find in themselves what they admire in those that they see that have talent. Everyone will develop their unique mastery and artistry. Again, that uniqueness of each human being, which is an incredible treasure. They will seek to find what happens now in living a life that they treasure. What do I do now? What's the next step? Where do I go from here? And some will enjoy exploring other realms and dimensions because these other realms and dimensions offer the potential for authentic and rapid change. Now, this will include space travel, people who are visionaries, innovators, the realms of imagination, and using the power of imagination, which is the definition of magic. That's what it is. Magic is using the power of imagination to bring about real change. That's real magic. They'll be exploring new places and new dimensions of life on this earth. Science is right into that, and it'll keep going further. Now, that's a list of 11 things that really are specific. So what the most important questions in 2021 and beyond will be, what will we need to do in a world based on love without struggle and survival imperatives? What will we do? What will we do if we don't have struggle and survival imperatives? Will it be boring and devoid of passion? Well, the answer to that second question is no, it will not be. It'll be the absolute opposite. There will be a lack of negative drama, and that'll take a bit of getting used to, but it won't be boring. It certainly won't be devoid of passion, because this new way of living, this world that we're going to be creating together as a humanity, will give you the time and energy to imagine and create a series of very specific things, which I've already touched on. A life worth living with purpose, value, meaning, and significance. Imagine a life like that for you. It's worth living because there's purpose, there's value, you have meaning and significance, and your life has meaning and significance. You can create a set of goals, a positive future, and you can develop your craft to get there. Your craft, your skills, your talents. You can imagine and create a new form of relationship with the land, and from this find new levels of abundance. There will be outlets for your productivity. I mean, apart from all the things beforehand, which are highly creative and imaginative and require skills, your unique form of being productive will have outlets. That's what people will be seeking from you. And that's the most enjoyable thing for you to give. So it's going to be two ways. You're going to want to give it and people are going to want to receive it. We'll be developing community in a new way, to reach out and to help and to ask for help within the community and beyond the community. And we'll be building the most important thing that we need in this world at the moment, which is really in chaos, which is bridges of trust. We need to learn to trust. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, first step, we're going to rediscover the true nature of power. That's one of the programs I'm running at the moment called the Power Cauldron. It's really going into that, and it's a whole new understanding of what power is, that it's not strength. Power and strength are two separate things. They're important and they work together. But power is power, and we haven't understood it. In fact, we've misused it and abused it a lot. And that starts with the power of women, because that's who own the power. They're the source of power. And the feminine energy. That's the source of true power. And this will start with women owning their true power rather than being competitive with men or whatever. But they are the source of power, owning that, and then using their power to empower men and to create new possibilities. So that's the first step. How are we going to do this? Understand what power truly is, where it comes from and what it can do for us and why it's so damn significant. Secondly, there's going to be what they would call in business or in legends, roundtable discussions. That's where we'll discuss our experiences and offer our wisdom and individual talents to the discussion, to the planning stage, to the visioning stage. They're going to be crucial, the art of doing that really effectively, which is a unique art, but it's so natural once you get into it. Once you understand that everybody's got something to contribute, and you tack that until the person comes out with it and it's real. They love it, and you love it. It's a real win-win. There'll be festivals that people will attend where people can come and watch conscious and mature men and women in action. Now, many of those you will find in what are called ordinary everyday people, not in the elites. There are people like that in the elites, but so many of them, conscious and mature men and women, they're riddled throughout humanity as resources. And when you attend festivals, those people can be seen. You know, an early precursor of that, I guess, is TED Talks. We'll design competitions that are specifically designed to bring out each other's strengths. Now, the competition will be based on bringing out the strengths, not who actually wins. Because if you bring out everyone's strengths, everyone will win. You even see that in competitions, you know, football matches and that today, when everybody gives their best, it transcends just the game. These competitions and our learning how to love in these festivals will help people find in themselves what they admire in others, as I said before. And it's worth repeating. It's not about admiring others, it's finding what you admire in them within you and bringing it out in your own unique way. There'll be personal development in living our daily life. In living our daily life. It'll be like there won't be daily life, and then when you really do what you're here to do, fulfill your purpose, make a difference, go to a seminar and learn something significant. Daily life is one of the most powerful ways of grounding all of this stuff that we pick up in the real world and making it and owning it as yours. This is where you develop your qualities of mastery and artistry in your daily life. People will go on quests, but it won't be so much Lord of the Rings, where it's just 3 movies of endless ups and downs and ins and outs until there's a little bit of peace at the end. It'll be quests to find, what do I do now? What happens now in the living of a life worth living? A life that's a real treasure. What do I do next? What's up? Where do we go from here? And people will learn true magic. Not everyone, but some will spend time learning magic, which is changing your reality with the power of your imagination. Some will give a lot of time to learning it, but everyone has a unique magic of their own. And each person will need to at least know that, because it's unbelievably useful. In simple terms, you know, being able to change your reality with the power of your imagination. Seminars, workshops, video games, until now, have only begun to touch on how we can apply that power in our real lives. We're just playing with it like children, just beginning to move into it. And the fascinating thing, it's not going to in any way demean logic. It'll take logic to whole new levels, just like what's happening in science with quantum theory and all the things that are on the cutting edge of moving out there. So what can go wrong with this? How can it go wrong? Well, put really bluntly, a lack of empowerment of the masculine in both men and women. That's what will screw it up. That's what could go wrong. So how do we deal with that? Empowerment of the masculine in both men and women? Well, how you deal with it is this. Women have the power to empower men so men can do whatever they truly want to do. That may be new to some of you. You may know about it from previous studies, from talking to me, whatever. And the way women do this is by helping each woman that they're connected to realize the true power she already has within her. That's crucial, because until a woman knows that she is the power lies within her. It lies within men too, but it lies in their feminine. Women are the source. Women are the mothers of power. So first they have to help each other realize that power within themselves, and then work together with the power to create the conditions needed for authentic, and here's the key word, rapid change. Power is being able to overcome resistance fast. Strength is overcoming resistance over time, because you've got to endure until you get there. But power is bang, snapping it quick. And then the next thing, once they know how to create the conditions for authentic and rapid change, empower men. And then working with men to create authentic, rapid, and sustainable change. That last thing where it lasts. Now, male leaders, here's the key, they need to give of themselves, their true selves. A male leader's highest role is to serve the land and the people. That's absolute first, not get outrageously rich, not conquer other countries. It creates tons of suffering and struggle and pain that we don't need, and massive wastes of human resources. So male leaders, those in a leadership role, need to realize their role is to serve, not be a servant, but to truly serve, bring the very best of who they are to the table, and serve the land and the people. And trust me, when you do it as a man, there's nothing more satisfying, content in terms of peace and the feeling of success, whether you've got the demonstrable trappings of success or not. It's just awesome. Personal experience. Empowered men who have been empowered by women, need to return, and who, with the help of women, have discovered that power within themselves, need to return to their communities and work with those like them, their kin, bringing them their unique qualities and helping them to grow as people. Empowered men have their own emotional and mental battles to face. They need to face the fact that I am more than a warrior, and I need to find my own value and what really matters to me. I could talk about that for hours, show you movies about it, whatever. It is so true. We're more than a warrior. It doesn't say we're not. It just says we're more than that. And we need to find our own value and what really matters to me as an empowered man, because they're going to do what they really want to do. They need to challenge themselves. Empowered men need to challenge themselves by working, not just networking. By that I mean, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that to some extent is true, to a large extent, but men need to challenge themselves by working, using their strength, by learning to develop a relationship with the land and with nature, rather than just defend the land or defend nature. They need to develop a relationship, a living, breathing, alive relationship that means something to them. It's a precursor or supporter of all sorts of other relationships with their partners, their community, their children, you name it. And they need to learn the true nature of prosperity and abundance, which I've mentioned before, and trust and trustworthiness, building those bridges of trust. Men really need to understand the true nature of those four things. Now, all people, young, old, everywhere in between, need to find their value and what matters to them. And they'll find that in their individual sense of dominion, being at harmony with the world. Which means if you want to be in dominion, I'm not talking about voting machines, I'm talking about in harmony with the world, you need to find your domain. And to identify your domain, this is what to ask yourself. Which one of these domains of life, I'm going to list them in a moment, there's 9 of them. Which of these domains of life give me the greatest sense of peace and wholeness, being at one with yourself? This is where your domain exists, the one that gives you the greatest sense of peace and wholeness. And enjoying that brings out your full potential. It's where your juice is. It's where you're in the zone. Now, the 9 domains are places in life that connect people to the power of the unconscious mind. They're not just external things around you. They're things that are really deeply connected to us at an unconscious level. They connect us to our unique nature and unique power and what drives us, what drives the spirit in our body, so that the body feels like it's not wasting its time being a human being. And the first one is nature, which is your rapport with nature and the energies or the spirits of nature. That's one. That's one domain. For some of you, that'll be crucial. Then there's your work. When you're in touch with your true work, you're in the zone. The third is achievements. Achievement is a direct connection to the power of your unconscious mind. And for some people, when they have a sense of achievements, achieving great things is an exalted experience. Or they achieve great things in an exalted way, through real talent, through real joy, through really tapping into a unique gift that they have. That's one of the 9 domains. Another domain is peace. For some of you, having a sense of peace is so powerful. It puts you, when you're at peace, you're in the zone. The 5th is virtue, is strength of virtue. Virtue is empowered strength. Remember, I talked about power and strength. Virtue is when your strength is empowered and it comes across and it's used in that way. It's not trying to grab power, take power, make up for power, pretend it isn't powerful. It is empowered, and that strength is something that you give of, something you bring to the people and to life around you. That's virtue. For some, it is being in touch with power itself. Now, all of these will give you access to the power of your unconscious. But one of those domains, one of these is your zone, is where the juice is, where you get things moving. And when you come from there, you find your value and what matters to you. So what matters to some people is having a sense of real, true power. And the spin-off of that is it creates immense safety and security. When you use power wisely, it's just, and for the right things, it's exceptional. For some of it, it's principles, having a sense of the boundaries that you set to yourself, to your life, and particularly to your character. that you have principles. People who have principles have power. They have juice. When that's their domain, they're in the zone. The archetypes, they're not just psychological fantasies or interesting stories that Joseph Campbell talked about that have lessons. Archetypes are living, breathing, alive energies that exist, that are the foundational to our world, physically and metaphysically or psychologically. But they're not just psychological complexes, they're real living, breathing energies. A lot of ancient cultures were more in touch with that. But now we really need it, because we really need to know and to access the power within the unconscious, so we're not trying to take it from others. We're self-empowered. Energy independent, I think they call it in the practical world. And the last one is, some people, their domain is their relationship with the divine, the sense of rapport and the unique relationship, not necessarily in a fixed form, but their unique rap with God, you might call it, or way of tapping in, way of connecting, communicating, receiving from something that's greater than themselves on a divine level. Not just archetypes are greater than yourself, but the divine is where the archetypes are born and where they come from. So one of those is where the juice is. And also, it's time to develop the qualities you need from 2021 till 2044, pardon me. And those are to look at and look beyond your animal nature and find your human values. Doesn't deny your animal nature, it's look at it and look beyond it and find your human values. We need to develop a future and a sense of the future. That's a crucial thing that I've repeated already. But if you're not focusing on the future, you'll never be in the present with power, with significance, with meaning, because you won't have the energy to be present. Realize that there is a state of dominion where you and the world are at one, you and other people are at one. And the domains that I talked about before, they are hothouses for seeding the futures that I was just talking about. There's all sorts of seeds. They're like the seeds you could put into the garden and create an incredible crop that things can grow from. We need to experience true freedom and discover what it is like to live in a world where it is safe to give, to care, and to love. We're not there yet. We dream about it, we think about it, but we've got to experience true freedom, not just ideals of it, not freedom without responsibility, but freedom, true freedom, because that's where we'll discover a world where it is safe to give, it's safe to care, it's safe to love, it's safe to be powerful, to be feminine. We need to learn how to live a full and rich spiritual life as a human being, not as someone who's above it all or trying to get out of here, who thinks this is miserable, and not at all. Have a rich and vibrant and alive and full spiritual life as a person who's actually living in a human body. It's crucial never to sacrifice, betray, or suffer yourself for the sake of love. Why? It doesn't work. Bottom line. Next, no pain, but do not suffer. And the way you do that is you use your pain to become more and thus you do not have to suffer. Now, sometimes that's really pushing the envelope. But every one of us as human beings experiences that. And it's not punishment. It's there. And if you use it to become more, you'll never truly suffer. Do not abandon or betray yourself as well, your true self. Get to know who you truly are. And leave no room for martyrdom and attempts to control, especially in your truest relationships, especially there, because that will activate the love. And see if you can extend that way further, because that will share it. But martyrdom and attempts to control, they wreck relationships. They destroy love. They cut it down before it has a chance to grow. And there's no room for trust. Now, you can let this be real in your world by working with what I've just shared. All that's very in-depth stuff. And by experiencing your life, this is going to sound funny, as a living legend. When you authentically choose to be part of a living legend, which means you become a living legend, there are 7 payoffs, 7 benefits. Really. You know, not just a legend in your own mind, but you're living your life that way. 1, when you're living your life at that level, you can experience subconscious mind communication without being thrown all over the place, without turbulence. You can experience unconscious mind communication without turbulence. In other words, your subconscious and your unconscious can communicate to you without having to create massive drama or smack you across the face or put you into a car crash or whatever it takes. There is a rapport that develops between those 3 levels, your conscious, your subconscious, and your unconscious. That's an incredible couple of benefits. And you're provided with metaphors that are bridges to understanding the human condition. Really useful for understanding what the hell's going on. And here's the fundamental thing. When you authentically choose to be part of a living legend, you awaken, you allow mystery to be a part of your life. So rather than get into emotional drama, your life has a mystery to it, a wonder. And that will awaken your personal myth, the true story you're here to tell. And what that does is it sparks your dreams about realizing the power and strength within you. And it sparks so much more. Your whole life lights up. And it also sparks your visions in the same way. Dreams are what you, in a sense, imagine and wish for, but visions you've committed to, using your power and strength that's within you to create so much more in the world. So I'll just end it with that is, don't just become a living legend in your own mind. And it's not something you just make up and go, oh, I heard this guy do a video on it, so I'm going to be a living legend. It has to be an authentic choice to be part of a living legend, because this is where we are at historically, a point that all the legends, and especially some of the great legends, have been pointing to right throughout history. It's happening now, 2021, 2044. It's all happening. Humanity is weaving itself together on a legendary level, and all the clues that those legends have given us. And now stuff we have to draw upon and find within ourselves and weave together for this to happen without the turbulence I was talking about, without being dragged there kicking and screaming. That's not the way to go at all. It's not the way to go there. Enjoy the adventure. Enjoy your life. Give the very best of who you are to this world. It's time to thrive. It's time to commit to thriving and to helping as many people as you can. That's why I showed you that thing at the beginning. We're committing to help as many people who sincerely want it, sober, clear-headed, want to make something out of their lives. Just give them a chance and access the resources of humanity rather than, destroy them, plunder them, rape them, pillage them, or enslave them. Incredible waste. We don't need that anymore. And people have, if you want money, there's so much out there and people have so much. They're looking for something to do with it. Well, help humanity, empower the people, the everyday people, the poor people, to make something of their environment and their lives. And this is what this whole 23-year period is going to establish. Humanity's no longer going to be broken up into bits and pieces, fighting with each other. But they're going to be, this statue in Thailand, there's 5 of them. You can only see the top 2. Working together as one. Humanity working together as one. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that made sense. It's been an unbelievable reinforcement for me to even just remind myself of that as preparation for what's coming now and to consolidate what I'm committing to. I hope you do the same in your life, and I hope this really contributes to you bringing the very best of who you are to this world and sharing it with each other. Take care.